Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, live on SABC3. Now, dietitian Kim Hoffman is still with us this morning. Earlier, she shared some insight on the topic of cravings, and now she'll be telling us more about emotional eating. We've all found comfort in food sometime or another, but, how do we identify those triggers and fight those cravings that lead to emotional eating? Kim will tell us all about it. Kim, welcome back.
Thank you.
What is an emotional eater, and how can we identify, if we are becoming an emotional eater or if we are one?
Okay, good question. So emotional eating on a very basic level is when you use food to make yourself feel better, especially during difficult times or situations. So the food is actually filling an emotional need. How do you know? It's basically if you're using food to make you feel better, if you often eat when you're not hungry, and also you don't stop once you feel that fullness coming on, and you find food is your friend, it's where you go to, and it makes you feel good, but at the same time, it also makes you feel powerless and out of control, and you feel very bad when you're eating it.
So, Kim, what causes someone to then eat because of their emotions?
So I believe it's because they don't have proper coping mechanisms for difficult emotions or situations. And they've learned to use the food and to eat as a way of soothing themselves or comforting themselves. And it's sometimes something we've learned from a very young age, when parents use food to comfort a child after an upsetting event. You fall down, hurt your knee, mommy comes out with a lollipop to make you feel better. So yeah, it can be learned from young.
It goes back to the time where you are growing. So basically, Kim, you're saying that we are conditioned to believe that if we eat something nice, we will feel better about the situation or feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, conditioned, and then also you don't know how else to deal with something. So when we don't learn other coping mechanisms.
But you know what, when about emotional eating, I'm so sorry for cutting you off. The one thing, Kim, about emotional eating is that after you have eaten all the junk food in the world to make yourself feel better, after you need to deal with the guilt, because now you feel heavier, you feel that you have gained a little bit of, few kgs, and now you have to deal with that. So it's just like
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
It could go, it could spiral. But Kim, we certainly don't find ourselves emotional eating with celery sticks or carrots. Why is it that we find so much comfort, so much comfort in junk foods over the healthier alternatives?
So that's a very good question. Why can't we use the healthy foods? What's quite interesting when you were running through what people felt that their comfort foods were just before this interview now, a lot of those foods are actually healthy foods that you can use. So I think there's also a big stigma as to that all foods that are used for comfort are unhealthy. So you can use healthy foods for comfort, but it's that high sugar, high fat generally that just does something with our brain that makes us feel better. And junk food plays right into that.
But then what are some of the ways, we can feed our feelings in a healthier way?
Yeah.
So that's the key. It's all about finding other things to do during times when you're feeling emotional or stressed or so. So you can be stimulated by a good book. You can go for a nice walk. You can go and talk to someone. You can meditate and try and find your inner peace. You can find a hobby that you can enjoy and work on. Basically, initially, the way I deal with emotional eating is I get people to find things to do to distract themselves. So whenever they want to eat, I tell them, find something else to go to. But ultimately, we need to figure out what is it that we're actually craving or needing. It's not food. The food is just a cover-up.
Kim, you are preaching this morning, preaching the gospel of diets. Thank you so much for your time. You have been absolutely fantastic, Kim Hoffman.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, what's your take on cheese grillers, by the way, before we let you go? At 5 a.m.
So if you're going to make it with a whole grain bread, and you use the softer cheeses on it and don't add any butter or marge to it and pop it under a griller, nothing wrong with that.
That's exactly how I make my cheese griller sandwiches, Tabby.
Okay,
So
fantastic. Well, now that we have better insight and understanding of our cravings, making healthier eating choices is the next best step. So Clover's Fruits of the Forest with cereals range containing oats, granola and seeds is a convenient solution for you and your family to help you with making those healthier snacking choices.
Fruits of the Forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds and granola crunch. Fruits of the Forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.